On Friday, the 31st of January, I decided to take a look at what's going around in the Facebook marketplace, and I had no idea what journey this would take me on. So yeah, as the intro suggested, I came across something amazing, and I'm really excited to share it with you all, but first, a little backstory, because that's how I am. I spoke to the seller, and after a few hours we came to a deal, and I was very happy. We arranged to meet up the following Wednesday, the 5th of February. It was about an hour's drive, which is lucky because I didn't even bother to check the location until after the deal was made. Oh, and I'll thank these two plebs for getting me there as well. We met, the seller was fantastic, and I walked out with actually a whole lot more than I expected to. And here's a little sneak peek. On the way home we took a couple of detours because the others decided then and there that we would start building an arcade machine, but that's probably another story in the future, who knows. You want to see what I got, and I can't wait to show you, so here it is. Is this what you expected? Because most, if not all of this stuff you can see here is not too easy to come by, and I feel extremely lucky to now possess it all. Let's start with the software. We have cartridge, 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 boxed cartridge, disc, 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 cartridge, disc. These discs, by the way, are 3-inch floppy disks. They're not your everyday kind of disc, like a 3.5 inch or a 5.25 inch. Well, 5.25 isn't exactly everyday, but you know what I mean. Well, I thought I was only getting one of these discs. I didn't even think I'd get any of the cartridges. Oh yeah, I also got this cassette and a bunch of cables. And this one looks very homemade. It just connects to this. I don't know what to call that. Then at the other end of the grey wire you get this chunky thing with a ground lug. Then there's this composite AV cable, but it looks like it's Commodore branded. That is interesting. And then you get your silly little RF cable. Blah. What are these cables for, you ask? On with the hardware, and we begin with these two joysticks, with a terrible case of not white anymore. But who cares? They look amazing. Okay, maybe I care a little bit, but moving on. This is where it gets interesting. We have an SC3000H, a home computer Sega released in 1984, this particular version. You probably saw this coming from the cartridges earlier, but what about the floppy disks? They are Sega branded floppy disks. So what the heck are they for? If you already know what they're for, then you understand why I feel so damn lucky. They are of course for this, the Super Control Station SF7000. I do not know how many of these were made, but I do know that they are really hard to come across, and when you do see one, well, your wallet kinda just fucks off goodbye. Now, does everything work? Well, it's hard to say. I tested all the games on my Yino branded SC3000H, which is the French version by the way, which means by French law it's got RGB by default. I mean, they completely removed the channel select switch, and the RF port is just... it's not even there. I tested the cartridges on that system because I know it works perfectly, and they all do work. But trying them on the one I just got doesn't produce the same results. It gets power, as you can see, but there's no video or audio. I guess we'll look into that in a future video, another SC3000 repair video. So, this is the part that makes me nervous. Once again, I used the Yino machine to test the SF7000, and initially, nothing happened. I tried cleaning and reinserting the cartridge, making sure that the input was clean, and then I realized I hadn't powered the damn thing on. The power LED lights up, the computer is turned on, we get a flash on the screen, and then the text that says there's no disk. This is what we want. It works. It actually works. Or does it? When I insert a disk and press the spacebar, the message just comes back. I hear no drive activity or notice any change apart from a slightly bigger gap with the black screen than there would be without a disk, so it must be detecting it. One other thing that bugs me is how the shell of the I/O cartridge is gone and the original cable has been replaced. I assume that someone had the two units further apart on shelving or something, so they needed a longer cable. Here's the original one. I may try to reattach it in the future, but I'll wait until I'm more confident about potentially wrecking the thing. I do have two new blank cartridges that came with my inner machine though, and I'm thinking of using one of those shells and filing out a slot for the cable. At least then I won't risk damaging the PCB with the extra support. Shame I can't just print out the original label. I mean, are there any high-res scans of that? Either way, I'm really grateful. What a way to mark the beginning of a decade with probably the best pickup I've ever done, so far at least. In another video, I'll clean and attempt to repair both the SE3000H and the SF7000, as well as fitting the I/O cartridge into that shell I just mentioned. All that to come, and probably more on it in the future. And if you stayed to the end of this video, thanks, it means a lot, and as always, I'll be back in 16 bits.
Green light, go left. You can go left. You fucking idiot.
Why is that so far away? What? Dude, why is there wasn't one anywhere near me?
Okay, left. What? Left.
Right, Jesus Christ. Come on. Oh my god. Don't, unless it was that one. Oh my god, Chris!
Like on the fucking motorway, we can't turn around and come back down.
Oh my god, we are on the motorway now!
What the fuck?
No!